Hi, welcome to another session of Learning with ISRAR at ISRAR'S YouTube channel. Today, our topic is free will versus determinism in philosophy. Free will and determinisms are two philosophical concepts that address whether humans have control over their choices and action or if they are predetermined by external factors. Some philosophers argue that people have free will because they experience personal agency when making the decisions. However, some other philosophers argue that free will is an illusion and that people's choices are predetermined. So there is a debate about free will versus determinism in philosophers, in which philosophers argue whether humans have the ability to make their own choices or if their behavior is determined by external forces. So now let's define each concept and also see how they are differ from each other, and finally see if there is any middle ground between these two concepts. Now let's first define what is free will. Free will is the ability to make choices and act independently of any prior event or state of the universe. It is closely linked to concepts like moral responsibility, praise, and culpability. It is an idea that individuals can make choices independent of external constraints or predetermining factors. It implies autonomy and personal responsibility for the decisions. There are three arguments of free will proponents. The first one is the moral accountability, the second one is the human creativity and agency, and the third one is the subjective experience, which will be discussed in this presentation. Moral accountability is for ethical systems and laws to function. Individuals must have the ability to choose right from the wrong. The next argument for free will is human creativity and agency. So, free will allows for personal growth, innovation, and pursuit of the goals. The third argument is subjective experience. So, people feel as though they are freely making decisions, which supports the notion of free will. After explaining the concept of free will, now let's explain about determinism. Determinism is the belief that all events, including human actions, are determined by preceding causes. It is rooted in the idea that everything follows the law of nature and is predictable if we have sufficient knowledge about condition and laws. Determinists are often supporting their concept by giving the argument of causality, scientific evidence, and predictability. They argue that every effect has a cause, so human decisions are outcome of biological, psychological, and environmental factors. Determinists also give scientific evidence in support of their concept, and they say that neuroscience and psychology suggest that unconscious processes may drive decision before conscious awareness occurs. Determinists also argue about the predictability of the decisions of the human beings, and because they say that they are the view that the universe operates according to the fixed laws, so actions are of the human beings can be predictable. After explaining the both concept, now let's see how they are differ from each other. In free will, there's autonomy which emphasizes the individual's autonomy, whereas in determinism, it is a predetermination stresses that the choices are results of the prior condition. The second difference is the responsibility. Free will supports the idea that people are responsible for their action, whereas in determinism suggests that individuals have no real control over their choices. And the third one is the difference in the decision making. Free will assumes decisions are made freely, whereas in determinism views the decisions as inevitable outcomes of specific causes. After mentioning their differences, is there any middle grounds between these two concepts? So these are the few more concepts which have some compromising position about these two concepts. One is the compatibilism, second one is the libertarianism, which is philosophical, and then hard determinism. Now let's discuss this one by one. Compatibilism is the this is the prospective hold that free will and determinisms are not mutually exclusive. People can act freely even if their actions are causally determined as long as they are acting in accordance with their desires and intentions. Libertarianism, this supports the idea of free will and rejects determinism, asserting that humans are transcend causal chains. Hard determinism, this strictly denies free will and asserting that determinism governs all the actions. At the end, we will say that the debate between free will and determinism is ongoing and central to discussion in ethics, law, psychology, and neuroscience, raising questions about the nature of human agency and essence of choices. So I hope after listening this presentation you have idea that what is the difference between free will and determinism. So if you have any question you can ask me in the comment section and I will be glad to answer your questions. Thank you for your time and listening.